this mental resilience or this stress resiliency helps you manage stress and like tolerance to your environment kind of. So basically all that means is like managing your emotions, managing your nervous system. And that's where I find the cold showers are one of the strongest pieces. I honestly find it is harder to get into and do the cold shower thing than it was to go and get in an ice cold lake every day. And that includes the walk to and from the house. Because the ice cold shower is just like it hits me here, I turn, it hits me here, it hits me here, but the rest of my body's still kind of staying warm and you're just getting pockets of it hitting you. Mentally, it is definitely harder versus like, hey, go jump in off the dock, fully submerged in cold water, and then settle in, sit there, and just like manage your breathing. You're fully covered by it, and your whole body just kind of is getting hit by it at the same time. It honestly feels easier to me. So biggest piece for me and most accessible piece for us is the cold shower. We can all do it. All you have to do, turn the knob to cold instead of hot in the morning. All the other ones, the ice bath, takes a bit more work to it. The cold shower, though, we all have access to, and we can all get a ton of benefits, especially when we're talking about that piece of like, I'm gonna go do something that I don't particularly want to, and I'm gonna lean into it, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go do it, even though I don't want to. So that's where I think the biggest benefit comes, and the most accessible form of the cold is going and having that cold shower and beating that mental block every single day and going, just being like, yep, I got this, because when you can do that, what else can you accomplish in that day? Does that mean if you can go and beat that cold shower, you can probably beat that chocolate chip cookie or whatever it is later. You can decide to work out a little bit longer. You can decide to go to the gym instead of bailing on it. All of these things really, it just like is a form of training for us to get past those mental blocks and build in that discipline and that habit and that routine in the morning. And a big benefit that makes it so much easier for us to do, it's like, yes, this is a very hard mental piece for us to overcome, but when we go and we get in it, we get that hit of dopamine and adrenaline, which reinforces that for us. So same way now, like when you feel bad, you go and you have like chocolate and ice cream or something, and it's like, yeah, you get a little bit of a reward, it feels good. So that kind of like rolls into supporting that negative habit of like this, when I feel bad, I go and I have these sweets, but I actually get rewarded for having the sweets because they're like sugary sweets. And we just know that like that's how sweets work essentially. But with this, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go do something that I don't want to necessarily do, but in the end is good for me, and my body's gonna reward me for that as well. So that's a huge piece. So as I said earlier, I would talk more about the dopamine effect. So most things that give us that hit in dopamine is like a very short, quick hit in dopamine, and then we're left wanting more of it, and because it's such a short, heavy hit of it. But the cold is a little bit different. So they did a study and they saw that it was extending like 2 to 3 hours after the fact that there were still elevated levels of dopamine and upwards of like 200-300% sometimes. So it can be very powerful for anyone who struggles with like getting up in the morning, mood, that kind of slow, sluggish, depression, those kind of things, anxiety even, because of that effect of dopamine. And so think we're in the middle of the winter now, perfect time for you guys to get started. The cold showers are a little bit colder. If you have access to like a lake or something, obviously that's an option too. If you're doing that one, be safe, make sure you have a way to warm up, get back to like a warm location, that you're not going to have any incidents in the water, especially the first times. Make sure you have somebody with you. All of those obvious things that we need to say, make sure you're doing those if you're doing it like outside the house in a cold environment. But in the winter, we get that, we have everything we need for the cold, and that tends to be when that seasonal depression comes in the most. So definitely we can leverage that cold at that time of year to kind of boost our mood a bit. So those are the biggest pieces that I think you can get out of that cold shower. So next piece is like how do I go about doing this?